Hello, dear friends. This is Grandma Jeannie. Welcome back to my workshop. I am on a mission today. My mission today is to create a springtime scene. I've got some stuff here. I got all this at the Dollar Tree. Some Easter grass, some little bunnies. Look at this bunny. I thought he'd be cute. Maybe I could find a little dollhouse child to sit on there like they're writing on it. I don't know if I'll use all this stuff. Some eggs, a little bit of greenery, a few flowers, greenery. Some little orange carrots. These are some little, I don't know, different Easter type shapes. Right now they're set up to be like ornaments, but maybe I could make them like a banner or something. And then I got these. Mainly I wanted some blue checked fabric, but they're really cute. They may end up in our springtime scene. I'm going to use this house. I don't know if I'll decorate the inside or turn it around and decorate the outside, but I'm going to start by assembling these little bunnies that I got at the Dollar Tree. Now, I have done these before. They're not very hard. They do take glue. I've got my favorite glue here, Beacon 3-in-1. That's what I like to use for a lot of my dollhouse stuff. Let's get this package opened up and I'll make at least a few of these for you on camera. I've made these before, but the last ones I made, I gave them all away. This is what they're going to look like when they're done. So I speeded that up for you, but in real life that took me maybe 5 minutes to make. And look how cute that looks next to that little baby crib there. Isn't that just cute? Okay, I've got 5 more of these I'm going to make. I'll make those and then come back and we'll do our springtime scene. I have my bunnies made. There they are all lined up. I did make a little bit of modification. I felt like he should have a tail. So I had a cotton ball handy and I wadded up a little ball of cotton and made him a tail. Each one has a tail. And when I got ready to glue them together, I was missing 2 of the little bouncy eyes. So this one got eyes made out of a magic marker and some white paper. If I come across them, I'll glue them on. Otherwise, they're just fine and cute the way they are. Let me get that baby crib over here again and just show you how cute they are surrounding that baby crib. All right, now we're going to need some Easter baskets, and I've made 3 already, and I've got my little process down pat. So I'm going to show you how to make these. I made these out of items that I had around the house. I didn't have to buy a thing. So I used lids from pop bottles or pop cans. Pop bottles, plastic pop bottles. And I used a variety of colors. This one happens to be kind of a clear color, which I think will suit well. But the other ones were a variety of other colors. This one was orange. And this one, I painted the bottom, but it was yellow. And this one was yellow also. But you could use any color because you're going to cover it up completely. But I think clear will work nice. Then I just cut a strip of cardboard. I just had some scrap cardboard and I cut this for the handle about the width that you want. I painted the back of it white because it had blue from the paper that I cut it from. So I painted it back of it white just so that won't show if anybody looks. And then you're just going to put it up around your basket as high as you want it. That's a pretty good height. And I lined it up flush there on the bottom of the cap on each side. And then I wrapped around, this is just masking tape. I had a wide roll. I think this color works nice, but you could probably use any color that you had. And then I'm going to hold that in place with masking tape on both sides where that handle adjoins the plastic lid. I just took little strips of that so it wasn't the full width. Then for added stability, I took that extra part that was a little bit too long, put it across the bottom, and I'm going to cut it flush with the other side, and then I'm going to put some more masking tape on there just to give that handle just a little more stability. So I'm going to rip off another little tiny piece of masking tape and mask that down. Just gives it a little more stability. All right, now I'm going to cover this. I wanted to use, my challenge here was to use stuff I already had around the house, so I didn't have to buy anything. Mainly I didn't want to feel like going to the store. Plus I have a bunch of craft supplies, so I want to use them up. I had these scraps of burlap left from actually a Christmas project, and it's bound on both edges. So I'm going to cut off a little narrow strip from that bound edge to use as a handle and glue it on top of that cardboard. So I'm going to cut it about 1/4 of an inch wide, which is about how long that, or how wide that little handle was. Cut it plenty long, then we'll cut it down to size. Then we're going to cover this with glue, my favorite 3-in-1 Beacon 3-in-1 glue, which is one of my favorite craft glues, especially working with Dollhouse stuff, because it's tacky, it dries pretty fast, but it lets you kind of shift stuff around for a few minutes before it dries solid. So I'm going to cover that handle up. And then I did it flush here with the top of the basket. And when I come around this side, I'm going to cut it flush with the top, with this side of the basket. I tried different combinations on this, and this is what seems to look the neatest and the best when it's done. So we'll hold that just a second and let it dry. Next, I'm going to take my burlap, and this time I'm not going to use the bound edge. I'm going to use that where I'd already cut that bound edge off, and I'm going to cut that maybe about a 1/2 inch. You want it, tall enough to cover your basket. I didn't measure. I just kind of eyeballed it. If it ends up to be a little too wide, well, I'll trim it off or something. But I just eyeballed it to make it about the right height to cover that cap. So now we're going to wrap that around there and glue it on there. And I thought that burlap worked really nice because it's got like a little tiny basket weave to it. Isn't that going to be cute? Okay, so I'm not going to cut it down to size yet. I'm going to put glue and then glue this around here, and then I'll cut that down to size, trim it off. The next thing I did is I laid my cap down on the burlap, and I cut a square a little bigger than the cap. And now I'm going to trim those corners off so it'll be more like a circle. And the circle again would be a little bit bigger than the cap. So make it rounder so it's more like a circle when you're done. And then take your circle of burlap, and I'm going to cut a slit into the middle. In fact, the last time I actually cut a slit to the middle, and then I cut another one, so I had a little pie shape to cut out of there. Looks like Pac-Man or something. Now we're just going to jam that down in the middle there to cover that inside. Now I did not put glue on my other ones. I think you can kind of just poke it down in there and it'll be a friction fit. So get it around in there and then poke it down in to cover the inside of the basket. So it'll look baskety on the inside as well as the outside. If that inside piece sticks up at all, or if you're getting any of those little burlap threads, just snip them off so it looks as cute as you want it to look. Otherwise, just say, well, that's the way a basket is. Sometimes they unravel a little bit. So in a matter of just a few minutes, I've made actually 4 little baskets. The first ones are a little rougher looking because I kind of had to perfect my project. But I've got 4 little baskets, and they're made from, recycle stuff. Made them for free, and they're the right size for my little bunnies and for my little dollhouse. Now that we have our little baskets made, I want to get some colored eggs to put in there. So here's my idea. I bought a bag of navy beans, the dried beans at the store, and I think they're the right size to use as eggs. Let's get a few out, and we'll kind of decide if this is going to be a good idea and figure out if we can get these colored or not. I think they are the right size to fit my little baskets, but I want them colored. So this is my idea. I have got this package of, these are like alcohol markers, and it's a nice set because it's got a lot of colors in it. But I kind of think you could use Sharpies, or maybe you could use like a regular, water-based markers. So you try something else if you want, but I'm going to use my alcohol markers and see how this works. I want to try with a color that's, not too dark. These have a skinnier end and a fatter end. Let's try the fatter end. I have a feeling my fingers are going to get covered with marker, but let's see how well this works. There's my little egg. I think that came out pretty good. I'm going to drop them down on my basket. Cute. I'm going to make a bunch of these. I'm going to even try like one with, well, maybe I'll use the same marker, but I'm going to try, see if I can make like some zigzag lines on there. I don't know. These are awfully little beans to be trying to decorate that way, but let's see if I can put a zigzag line on there like you might if you were really decorating some eggs. That was somewhat successful. Somebody that, could be more precise than me probably could do a better job, but I think it's pretty cute. I'm going to try my blue marker and put some polka dots on there. Pretty cute. I'm going to see if I can make a bunch of these. I think those are adorable. All right, I'm going to try a little wad of Easter grass in here and then put some eggs. We'll do all three of these baskets. Just a little wad of the Easter grass. Oh my gosh, how fun and cute was that? Now, I'm not going to lie, some of these ones that are a little fancier, a little better made, like that one there, my granddaughter came over and helped me make those. Aren't those cute? They didn't take very long and it was a lot of fun. Now, I think these will keep well, year to year, as long as you keep them somewhere where it's not going to be damp. We'll see. I've never done it before, so I don't know for sure. Now we've got our bunnies, our baskets, and our eggs. Let's put our little spring scene together.